Hey guys, Joebizz34 back again, and it's that time of year again. Happy Halloween, everybody, 2019 edition. And yes, even though I haven't been around as much, I'm still alive and kicking, and still collecting here and there. I have downsized a lot due to personal circumstances and reasons. I've had to sell a lot of my stuff, but I still pick up stuff here and there when I can. I still want to be part of the hobby and show some new gems and give some people that are very deserving artists some shout outs. So we're going to go from left to right here. Or I should say from right to left. From here all the way down to show my latest stuff that, ultimately are fitting for Halloween. I'll explain each one as I go. Let's start off with this one. This is a very nice piece. This is the Leprechaun. There's the pot of gold there. And this is done by Horror Handmade. Relatively new artist. It's been around now for maybe, last year or two? And really making some cool stuff. A while back I showed a picture of the nun that he made. And found him on eBay. And he's got it signed right there. And he does some really cool stuff. He's doing an Exorcist Reagan that looks pretty interesting. He's done the nun. He's done this one here. And he's definitely, putting his stamp on this hobby. Really quality stuff. I mean, you can see the clothing, the face. The sculpt is really good. Real hair there coming out of the head. The hat is not removable, so it's part of the sculpt. The costume is really dead on, pretty accurate. It is a plaid vest with his gold buttons and his chain. The reddish pink, purplish pants with the buttons on the side. The socks, the striped socks with the boots with the gold buckles on them. The nice hands, very well done with the long fingernails. It's really good. Now, it's not very articulated. That's the only thing I would give a negative, if any. But then again, you don't really have to articulate him that much. And even though he's in a kind of a weird stance where he looks like he's bending forward, which is great, he stands very well. You don't have to worry at all. The center of gravity is there and balance, and he stands without a problem. So kudos to Horror Handmade, and I wanted to really showcase this one. And there's the certificate of authenticity once again. Look him up. I think he's on. I don't know if he's on Facebook. I've seen him on Instagram and eBay, so I'm sure you can find him on Facebook too. But definitely on Instagram if you have trouble finding him on Facebook. But cool guy. Spoke with him. He's overseas. He's in another country, but he ships really good, quick and fast. And a lot of times he sells stuff that's already ready, so you don't really have to wait. So fair price, not expensive at all, considering the work. And it's a really cool piece, and it really is very accurate looking. So I'd have to say one of the best Leprechauns to date, definitely. I mean, of course, there's always others out there. There's always been better. I've owned others as well, but this one is really nice, and I'm proud to add this one to my collection. So let's go back here for a second. This is Freddy Krueger representing from part 1. Now this is an interesting piece because this is sort of a kit bash that I put together. For personal reasons, I had to get rid of my Beta Motali part 1 Freddy recently, but I managed to kind of put together a new one that represents him from part 1. As you see, the sweater, the glove, which is really cool, and the pants and shoes and all that. So I'll explain. So basically, the sculpt was a one-off commission done by Beta Motali. Can't mistake in Beto's work. I mean, that's awesome. The hat, of course, as usual, the hat is separate. So you can see there. So you can see the detail. And it's very similar to, the part 1 head sculpts that Beto has done in the past for both his Freddy runs, both the original and when he did the second run with the 2 head sculpts. And this kind of looks more like from that set, the version 2, where it came with both the smiling and the serious head sculpt. The only thing that was done different by request by the customer that commissioned him was different eye colors. So you could see this kind of like a very sinister, demonic, red and yellowish kind of eyes in there. And that was something specifically, I guess, this person wanted. The person that sold this to me, he did put together a full Freddy, although it wasn't like completely part 1. It was more of just a regular Freddy body, standard Freddy sweater with this head sculpt. I am 1/6, I believe he goes by. If I said that name wrong, I'll put it in writing underneath this. I'll put it in writing and subtitles right now. but I believe that's him. IM16. Again, cool guy, does some good custom work. I've seen him on Instagram as well, I believe. And he put this together originally to be like a complete figure. And his contribution to this is that he wanted the hat, I guess, to be a little more brownish. So he repainted the hat, or he went over it with some washes to kind of just touch it up and make it a little more brown, like a lighter brown. That was his wish. So he sold the head sculpt and the hat and the figure to me as is. Now what I did was I put it on a different body that I already had a Part 1 Freddy, and I changed the sweater out to be a true Part 1 sweater. Now this sweater is actually done by Dan Castro, very talented tailor, and this particular sweater that's weathered and made to look like Part 1 was part of the 5 Faces of Freddy set that I'm sure people in the hobby are well aware of. That was done by Jason, and I don't remember everybody's names that were involved. It was a collaboration of artists that worked together to do the group. So, to do the group set, I should say, the 5 Faces of Freddy. And the sweater was from that set. But the tailor is Dan Castro. I have seen Dan Castro's work before. If you quite remember the Pretty Woman Leatherface I showed in a couple videos back that had the Dark Customs head sculpt on, that was a suit that was done also by Dan Castro. So he does good stuff. Hit him up. He's available out there on social media, like once again, Facebook, Instagram, all that, if you want anything done by him. The pants and the shoes and all that are kind of kit bash that I kind of gathered from other Freddys that I have done or bought. Same thing with the hand. This came from another Freddy that I had gotten a while back. The glove I've had for a while now, and he's been, I've sported this glove with a few variations of Freddy that I have. It is a real-life Part 1 Freddy glove shrunken to 1/6 scale. You guys out there remember this was a very limited edition run that was done by Kane, and it's a great glove. It's a little oversized, but I kind of like it because of that. It's very dramatic, really stands out, and it's definitely done in the form of being accurate to Part 1. The nails and the fingers can move just like the real thing. And as you can see, there's like a metal plate. There's actually metal and metal parts with the fingernails and all that. Really well done. I always love this glove, and I've used the glove repeatedly on a few variations of Freddy's that I have, and he fits right in with this one. So this is my Part 1 Freddy. Some of Kane, some of Dan Castro, and some of Beta Motali, all working together here, and a little touch-up paintwork and custom work done by IM16. So very good stuff. And again, he's going to represent Freddy 1 in my collection for the time being, until I either get another Beta Motali full figure or something better comes along, or I might just stick with this one because I'm really in love with this figure. So wouldn't be upset to be stuck with him. All right, let's talk about this bad boy now. This is probably my latest prize piece, and it is a collaboration between, of course, the legendary One's Custom, which once again he's earned the main event of this video, and you'll see what I mean when I get to him. One's Customs is legendary. He's one of the top 3 or 4, especially when it comes to horror, custom artists out there. Everybody at this point who knows anything about 1/6 knows about him. Montwayne Gonzalez, awesome guy, great to deal with, and he did this fantastic Creepshow Nate 1/6 sculpt, as you could see here. So, you ask, how did I complete the figure? Well, technically I didn't. This is definitely from the help of other friends of mine and people in the hobby that together made this beautiful piece stand out. As you can see here, first issue collector's edition, Distressed Labs. And you see here, C Creations, aka David Tucker, one awesome hell of a guy, and of course One's Customs. So as you can see, Distressed Labs, which is run by Paul Manzi, awesome, shout out to Paul, big time buddy of mine in the hobby now. We've grown close in the last year or so, and we've gotten along very nicely and collaborated on a few things, and he hooked me up. He makes bases, and I purchased this as part of the deal to kind of make this a complete figure. So basically, Distressed Labs, aka Paul, did the base and the background. Very nice piece. He's got the nameplate here, really nice, well done. The tile with the leaves and the book. He put the book separately, so you could kind of put the leaves in the book and all the accessories where you want. But he did the base. He did the grass and the dirt, and with the leaves that he supplies and the rocks, really adds a nice effect. Can't ask for anything better, and it really comes together when you look at the thing as a whole. So kudos to Distress, and he also added this little kind of a, what you call it, like a 3D hologram kind of Creepshow card. Really cool. There it is in the back. Nate Set 1019, background, base, and comic. So he specifies what is his, and of course this is his card, Distress Labs. He's available all over the place. Facebook, Sideshow Freaks, Instagram, you name it, he's there. Really nice guy, Paul Manzi. He works his butt off, and he's got a team of other people, and I'll get into that in a second. He's got other people working with him. Bring your collection to life. Really cool. So that's his card. So reach out to him, or if you have trouble finding him, contact me, and I'll put you in touch with him. I talk to him almost every day. A lot of love there. So anyway, getting back to the figure. So Once Customs did the head sculpt, painted and haired by him. The body, the outfit, the weathering, the suit, the hands, everything else, the boots here. I believe the hands also was done by one, but everything else was finished off and done by David Tucker, aka C Creations. And I'm sure people in the hobby know about him at this point too. Excellent work. And him and Once Customs goes together like vanilla ice cream and chocolate syrup, man. I mean, together you get one hell of a figure at a pretty reasonable price, considering. I mean, it's not cheap, but compared to full figures, you get a lot for your money here. So if you're interested in this figure or others, if you know, or if you have, let's say, head sculpts done by Once Custom, but you're having trouble finishing it or making it a full figure, or let's say you want a certain character from one, but you can't afford the whole figure, and you want an alternative, reach out to C Creations, reach out to David Tucker, and he will hook you up with, working with you to complete the figure at his costs, and then together with the money you spend on the head sculpt, and then what you spend on him to give you the rest of the body and the outfit and whatever else, you'll get a complete, wonderful figure that is awesome collector's piece. So between David Tucker, between Once Customs, and between Paul Manzi of Distress Labs, I have here one hell of a piece. So there you go. That's Creepshow Nate. Awesome. So once again, big shout out to all three of those guys. Now, let's move on to something else here. We're going to move on to, of course, I cannot do a Halloween video without including the man that we call Halloween, because let's face it, the holiday Halloween and the name of this movie that represents this character go hand in hand at this time. And this is the Michael Myers. So what you're seeing here basically is an older Michael Myers that I already put together, with the accurate boots, with the Yunsil coveralls that's still to this day considered one of the best. The black t-shirt underneath, also done by Yunsil. The body is, it's not a Bruce Banner body, but I use kind of like a knockoff that's very similar. And I've always been happy and satisfied with this body for this figure. So the cherry on top is what's been updated, and this is haired, sculpted, and casted and painted by Matthew Burgett. And Matt's been in the game now for a few years. If you quite remember, he started off doing the Halloween pumpkins that light up and play music when you put it under a light, and he's done a few good work. He does good work, and he's a collector. But he's a fellow Godzilla collector too, so shout out to him with that, X Plus Godzilla. And, he does really good work. But he recently started this project where, about a year ago, he started this project where he scanned, I guess, one of his masks and came up with an idea like, hey, if you scan an actual, take a picture, or I guess scan your actual Halloween Michael Myers mask and kind of try to cast it down to 1/6, what would happen? And believe it or not, he started out by trying to do it for a Part 2 Myers, but ended up, really because of the shape and the sizing of it, once it, I guess, casted or molded, it turned out to be a perfect, Part 1. Now, listen, when it comes to Michael Myers, there's a lot of controversy. And we all know for years, people have been fighting over Michael Myers. What's the best sculpt? It's this one, it's that one, it's Once Customs, it's Beta Motali, it's Kane, it's Mad Bug, it's, whatever. And everyone has done a wonderful job with their interpretation of Michael Myers. And a long time, there's been a few fan favorites. Mad Bug held the crown, I think, for a long time as far as being considered, one of the best out there. But I have to say, this is, I think, in my opinion, this takes the cake of a new king. Mad Bug is still out there, you know, and there's others, like I said, other ones that still are out there that, you know, for different purposes, different looks in the film, different moments, you could still say are competitors, and they all are. They all will, always will be. But I have to say, you know, he really hit it out of the park with this. This is a home run. And to me, this is one of the best. And I loved Mad Bug, so no disrespect to Mad Bug sculpt. I still have one. I still have a Mad Bug sculpt, and I'll never get rid of it. But if anything is going to rival it, I have to say this is the closest to really perfecting a Part 1 look that I've ever seen in 1/6 form. Now, I do have another one that's coming. I ordered 2 at the time because I wanted to own this piece of history. So this one is numbered and was actually painted and haired by Matthew that created this sculpt. And then I have another one on the way. It's not ready yet, but Nathan, you know, Silent Surfer is painting. And I should receive that soon. And we'll see. I'm sure that's going to look epic once I get that in hand. And I'll show that in another video someday when I get that. But in the meantime, I'm very happy with this one. Now, this here is a Lamson knife that I had gotten off somebody that made real metal knives years ago on eBay, and it always held up. Well, that's until now. There's many good competitors out there that, you know, different artists that make, you know, great weapons. But this stands out, I have to say. Now look at this. It comes in this lovely case like this. Great presentation. Also affiliated with Distress Labs, but he does his own work. All his information's right here if you could see it. His Instagram, Facebook. So his name is Chris Yeast, and like I said, he works with Paul, and they collaborate on projects through Distress Labs. So you can contact Paul or contact Chris through here. I mean, you see Chris's information right here, and Distress Labs information. Or you can contact Chris Yeast separately. He is on Facebook and Messenger and all that as Chris Yeast. And it's spelled exactly the way you're seeing it right there. So, very nice guy. He lives in the Kentucky area. Really awesome dude. I've talked to him a lot. Like I said, he's part of the group I talked to, along with Rob Terrell and Ricardo and Paul and the other Rob and so on and so forth. But wait till you see this. So he sends. So I wanted to own this because I want a piece of this because I've heard that he does great work. So even Paul swore up and down. He said, you got to give this guy a chance and see the work he does. He said it's bar none one of the best. And check this bad boy out. Look at that. He just sent me this. And man, it is worth every dollar that leaves your wallet to get one of these things. Look at this. Look at the metal. Look at the glare, the reflection. You could see my camera. You could see my camera. And if you put up, look at that. You could see Nate in the reflection of the knife. You could see Michael Myers in the reflection of the knife. Look at that. And this thing is no joke. He told me to be careful. I could stab myself, and he's right. This thing is sharp. Okay, you could probably cut a little tomato with this thing. You could definitely poke things. So look at the craftsmanship. Look at the metal, the sharpness and the clarity of the metal, the reflection. And then look at the handle. I'm going to see if I can get in here and focus. All right, look at that. I mean, the detail on the handle. He's got the three buttons, the 3 gold marks on the handle. Very accurate. And it looks, you know, it's real wood. And it's stained to look like I mean, it looks like it's the exact real replica shrunken down the 1/6 scale. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. And in the box, he's got like this magnetized system in here so it stays. So it's very safe if you want to keep it in the box to display, or if you want to put it in the hand of Michael Myers. So what I'm going to do now, for fun, is I'm going to have Michael actually sport this knife now. So I'm going to be right back. So I just want to show you, just to compare, okay, this is the original knife that I always considered one of the best I had, you know, and it served its purpose for many years. It's still a very beautifully done knife. I can't even tell you, I don't even remember who made it at this point. But compared to that one, there is no contest. I mean, look at this. So, hold on one sec. All right, so there you go. So now Mikey is sporting the new knife, and let me tell you something. That just brings any Michael Myers figure to a whole nother level. That is incredible. So, man, I'm telling you, if you want a really nice Lamson knife for somebody that really puts his 100% all into it, you know, give Chris a chance. He makes other weapons, and like I said, just the presentation of it, how it comes, a nice little display box, you know, and it could fit in with your display as another 1/6 item. But you know, he included this, which is also cool, done by Distress Labs, October 31st, 1978. See, and it looks like the old VHS copy paused, right? See the play button there with the timestamp. Really nice touch by Distress Labs. So really awesome. That's all I could say. I mean, damn. I don't have anything negative to say. I really don't. I mean, you know, Chris was laughing and he said, listen, you know, give your whole honest opinion. You know, don't hold back. But honestly, what's there to say? You know, I mean, what's there bad to say? It really is a beautiful knife. So he makes other weapons. Like I said, he'll make machetes maybe for Jason or, you know, axes or whatever. You know, hit him up, see what you need, and I'm sure he can make it happen for you. All right. So moving on, we spent a lot of time here. Let's move over here. So this is a retro review. This is nothing new, but I wanted to show this anyway. Getting back to Paul Manzi again, me and him have been busy this year with making deals, and I had done an epic trade with him earlier in the year that got me this beautiful retro piece, something I always wanted in my collection. Long time ago, Beto Matali, in his early days, he made this along with like It the Clown and some other things. The Joker set for '89, Jack Nicholson Joker that I have. When he back in those times when he was doing stuff like that, you know, he did this Darkman set. And although this was not originally painted by Beto, it is an original sculpt, and hat and hands and the clothing are all original, including this secondary sculpt. The clothing and the tailoring was done by, of course, Lou, or Lupita, which is his, you know, his co-worker. You know, they always work on the full figures together. As far as he does the sculpt and painting, she does the clothing, the tailoring. And the tailoring is bar none fantastic. I mean, this coat, you know, I've seen other ones attempt to like put together a Darkman, you know, kit bash, and some of them are decent, but you can't compare to the craftsmanship of the clothing when it comes to this figure, when it comes to Lou's work here. So the duster coat is phenomenal. You can see back here, you can see the flap, see, in the back there. It's really cool. So the paint work is really nice. I talked to Beto personally and verified that this is original. He said he verified, he said this is his work. It is his original sculpt, although he didn't paint it. So somebody painted it. He said that originally when he painted it, he didn't include like blood on the bandages. So somebody else painted it, but whoever did paint it did a fantastic job on the head and the hands and what have you. So definitely up to par, you know, to make this figure shine properly. And whoever, I don't know, and Paul wasn't sure if the person that painted this sculpt is the same guy that painted this one. This one is pretty good too. I mean, nicely done as far as the scarring and the injured part. It almost looks like Two-Face, right, from Batman. And the teeth and the gnarliness of the injury. It really is really well done. I prefer the bandage head, and I think everybody pretty much agrees, including Paul. So I don't think I'd ever display him with this head sculpt, but it's a nice, you know, a piece that complements, I should say, the full figure. Definitely a nice accessory. So that's that. Now, moving on again. All right, this figure. This is Leatherface from the remake Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. And this guy is very well done. As you can see, the apron, the clothing, all that's accurate. The half face mask with the hair, real hair in the sculpt. Nice nice axe. It has like a real, you know, it's not metal, but it has a nice finish to it to look, you know, good. And maybe I'll talk to Chris Yeast about getting an updated version of that. But Chris, if you're listening, you got some business coming your way, some more business. The apron's really nice, very accurate in color and style to the movie. The chainsaw, which is definitely also accurate with the bandages, like what you call it, like the tape, the silver tape going around, whatever you call it, masking tape, not masking tape, you know what it is. The what's that tape they always joke that can fix anything, right? The thick construction tape or whatever. But anyway, that's on the handles here, and the here on the bottom of the saw here, and the paintwork is accurate. That he had like more like a brownish black colored saw with some blood on it in the prequel, to the remake prequel, I should say. And duct tape, that's it, duct tape, that was the word I was looking for. And here's the certificate of authenticity, and done by Joel artwork, Leatherface Freddy set. So you go, and he has it here numbered 1 of 1. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the reason why it says both Leatherface and Freddy here is because originally Paul had a Freddy Part 1 figure done by him too, so he probably sent this together. So, but there's a nice certificate of authenticity with it, done by Joel. Joel's been around the block for a long time. A lot of people who are in the hobby, once again, should know Joel. And there's his initials, J.A. Very nice, humble dude. He has a very unique style to his sculpts and his work. And he's done some really cool stuff, and he's gotten better as the years gone on. He did I believe he did a Harry and Henderson's that's great, that I always wish I could own one of those. And I always loved this figure. So, again, when I did the trade with Paul or did other deals with Paul, we kind of swapped a lot of figures. This was another one that came into my possession, which even though it's not a brand new figure, that's why I'm reviewing it now, because it's new to me. All right, getting to the main event. Of course, we couldn't have a Halloween vid that doesn't finish on an Epic Ones Customs piece, right? Okay, look at this. The Ultimate New Blood 2.0 6-scale custom figure by Ones Customs. And he's dated it July of 2019 when he completed this bad boy. Now, before I show this figure, I just want to say, you know, last couple Halloweens, I showed you the New Blood figure I had from him before. And I thought that was great, okay? But, you know, he approached me earlier in the year, and you know, he knew that I very much was impressed with the newer versions, and he asked if I was interested in, you know, getting an upgrade. And since I couldn't, at the time, afford to pay him in full for a full-on figure, he used my original figure sort of as like collateral. So he said, well, how about, you know, you give me your original one that you have, and and then you give me further money to kind of upgrade it into a 2.0, which what I said, you know what, fair enough. So we worked it out, and that's what he did for me. So now I have the 2.0, or my 1.0 was morphed into a 2.0, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, let's start off with the little details here. He gives you a little nice display bust with this version, along with the certificate of authenticity, which I just showed you. And on this bust, you could display whatever head you're not using. So this head, like the other one, comes with the open mouth one when the mask is splitting, and he once again gives you the mask that splits. He gives you the extra chain, which, you know, it's pretty much your choice which one you want to use on the figure or here. And a nice little bust that has some of the costuming on it, the outfit. So it's kind of it's a very nice way. He did that with his Halloween Michael Myers set too, where he gave that bust, where it's a nice way of displaying your alternate head sculpt. Because a lot of people feel bad, like, which head sculpt do I use? What do I do? You know, and you get like kind of like OCD trying to figure out, you know, which one you want to go with. But, you know, he kind of solves that problem for you, because you can display the second head sculpt in a nice fashion. So whichever one you use on the figure, you put the other one on here, or vice versa. And you're kind of happy because they're both out and shown. So that's cool. So here's the base he gave me, which is like a muddy, kind of like mud mixed with water and blood, obviously dripping into the lake. Very, very nice and detailed done. There's the shoes, as you can see on the figure. Here we go. I'm saving the best for last year. Look at this thing. Just look at this thing. Oh my God, incredible. And again, I thought the one I had a couple years ago was fantastic. And it still is. But man, did he raise the bar once again. And I've seen other people that have received one, like similar to this. Some even have more detail than others. And, you know, regardless, this is just an awesome piece. You know, whatever variation you have of it, it's just unbelievable. I mean, look at the craftsmanship. Look at the machete. Just the details on the machete. It just looks awesome. And we know that technically in the New Blood, he didn't even really hold a machete for much. But still, you know, you can't help but put the machete and Jason together like peanut butter and jelly. But here's his hands. The detail on the hands, you can see the skull and the, you know, the rotting flesh. The outfit, I mean, the costuming is perfect. It's that perfect mix of like grayish blue, green, all kind of like, you know, all kind of mixed in there. On film, it's even got like sort of like a purplish tint, but that's like the blood stains and the stuff that you're seeing that's kind of, with the lighting, is making that kind of shine through on camera. But those are definitely blood stains. And of course, he still went with the nails. So you can see the nails going in the chest. Just crazy, crazy. Look at the rib cage and everything. This is fully custom. This is all him. So of course, you know, without the mask, you could take the mask off, and there's the other head sculpt. Definitely a little more detailed and improved as far as the paintwork. It's basically the same new and improved head that he used with the version 1s and the ones he did recently. So not much different there, but still very well done. He once again kind of tweaked it to improve it, and the paintwork is phenomenal and goes perfectly, you know, obviously with the full figure. I'm going to put this mask back on. And again, now that I have his little bust here, I don't have to stay up at nights, you know, obsessing over which head sculpt I'm going to display with what, because I have the option either way if I want to switch it up or what have you. I'm going to try to turn this thing down gently, and I want you to see. I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to film again. Hold on. Okay, the reason why I wanted to spend the time to turn this thing around, because I really wanted you guys to see the back of this. First off, phenomenal, the pants. And if you notice, the pants and the shirt are slightly differently colored, which is nice. Because technically it is supposed to be the rotting Part 6 outfit, right? Which had the green shirt and the beige pants. So very nice touch that it's kind of like different shading, which probably technically the screen used clothing is. But look at the back here, the rib cage, the back of, I should say his spine, the back of his rib cage, and the back and his backbone, back shoulder blades, everything. Look at the friggin' detail on this. I mean, it's just incredible, his sculpting work here. And that's why I wanted to take a moment for you guys to see this from the back. Really crazy. And just like in the movie, depending on the lighting, on the angle, the tint and the color of the outfit changes, which I always love that. Because like Jason, especially this particular Jason that has that neutral gray kind of color, many moments in the film, there's times it looks blue, there's times it looks gray, there's times it looks green. So it creates that same kind of conversation or debate, like what happens with people with the famous Michael Myers coveralls. They're blue, they're green. No, they're technically neither. It's just the lighting of the film that kind of creates those tints, at least with Part 1. We all know that Part 2 was different, and that was a spruce green and all that. But in Part 1, the base was like basically a dark charcoal gray that took on the forms of different colors and tints throughout the movie because of the lighting. So this kind of had the same type of thing. So once again, just had to really gush and show this off. Really great work by all the artists. I'm going to try to turn him around again without... Let me just pause this for a second. I don't want him to fall. Okay, there you go. So once again, you see him from the front. Just a phenomenal figure. Definitely worth the main event card. Of the card, I should say. Of the lineup. But again, we have many other heavy hitters to complement this figure. Everybody here, every figure here deserves kudos for one reason or the other. And I'm highlighting these all this year. These are the newest prizes to my collection, bearing it be brand new or old or retro, what have you. They're new to me. They're new. They came to me at some point this year, so that's why they're part of the 2019 Halloween vid. They're all horror related. So again, big shout out to One and his beautiful work. Also, I forgot to show before, but as you see, this is a movie card. I didn't mention it. Movie card poster that came with the figure for a nice touch with Joel. And Paul, I know Paul does that with a lot of the figures he has. He kind of has like these like movie posters that go along with the figures. So nice touch there. Great job done by Joel on this figure. Of course, Beta Mortali, another master of horror and custom figures in this hobby, along with his partner Lou for the tailoring. Great work. Chris Yeast, what can I say, man? You outdid yourself with this display piece for holding the beautifully done Lamson knife, and I still can't believe how realistic it looks. It's amazing. Look at that reflection. Unbelievable. Right now you could see Darkman's hand reflected in that knife. That's crazy right there. Hey, there it is. That's awesome. Matthew Burgett, again, big shout out to you. I'm looking forward. There's been rumors he's going to do more Myers stuff or possibly a Part 2 Myers in the future. Matt, really fantastic job adding this beautiful sculpt into our 1/6 Myers community and history. Distress Labs, again, shout out for Chris and for Paul. Paul Manzi, great job on the display base, the props and accessories that came with it, the rocks, the leaves, the whole deal. He does awesome woodwork, makes great bases, nice background, nice touch, because he gives kudos to the other artists involved with the figure that he was making the base for, which is this awesome piece. Again, head sculpt done by one, body and clothes and weathering and everything else, shoes and everything else in between, done by David Tucker, aka C Creations. Shout out again to Beto for this awesome one-off piece, and shout out to IM16 for working on the hat, and also selling this beautiful piece to me so I can have it in my collection and kind of upgrade it for my liking, which again was basically the sweater done by Dan Castro. That's part of the 5 Faces of Freddy set. But I think Dan will make sweaters maybe separately, so you can hit him up if you want a Freddy sweater. Glove done by Kane, and before anybody asks, this glove is years old. I don't think Kane does these anymore, so sometimes people start to ask me where to get things, and I mean, I can give you the guy's name, but it doesn't mean he makes them anymore, And of course, Horror Handmade for his awesome Leprechaun piece. One more time, kudos to all of you. I just wanted to take an extra couple minutes to give a shout out to a new group that I'm actually a part of, and I'm an admin. A bunch of buddies of mine that I've gotten pretty close with within the last year, and we had our own chat group going, and not to negate or to take away from any other groups I belong to. I'm a happy member of many groups in the 1/6 community on Facebook, a proud member of many, but this is one I'm, especially proud of because I'm part of it, and I was there for the conception of it, the beginning. And I'm an admin of this group along with many others that most of the people that were in the chat group but together are formed this group. And it specializes in 1/6, obviously horror, like the name says. And since that's kind of the common bond that the people in the group that have. We love horror, and we love 1/6 scale figures in horror. So we decided to, see if we can kind of make a new group that is kind of more focused on horror, and also a peaceful group. One that everybody can kind of come together and show their love for horror in this hobby, and kind of work together to make it a friendly group. If it's not friendly, then you're not in the group. That's just basically what it comes down to. So I want to give a shout out to a lot of people that I've been chatting with and I've been friends with now and have gotten close with, and again are mainly mostly the admins of the group. First off, I mentioned Paul and Chris a few times in the video for their work. So obviously big shout out to them. There's John Shepard, who's another admin of the group like me. Ricardo Guzman, very close friend of mine. I've been friends with him for many years now. And he claims that I'm one of the guys that inspired him to get into the hobby. So he's a good guy and close friend. I consider him a friend. Robert Correa, that we nickname him Babyface. He's the youngling in our group. Of course, once again, Paul Manzi. My boy Robert Terrell, now he's got a wonderful collection of his own, and he knows his stuff. Chris Yeast, who I just mentioned, that makes the weapons, makes awesome weapons, and is part of this group as well, along with the chat group. And like I said, he collaborates a lot with Paul with Distress Labs. Victor Massimino, awesome guy. He's a good guy. Dealt with him a lot, known him for a few years independently, but within the last year as part of this, as part of our chat group, and of course this group, and a fellow New Yorker. So gotta love that. So big shout out to Victor as well. And basically, these are the core guys that I've gotten to know, and have really become close with in this hobby. And I really appreciate all the friendships that I've formed with these guys, and the collaboration that we've and advice and opinions and just all kinds of feedback that we've been able to give each other in the hobby, and different point of views and views, and not fighting, not arguing, but just expressing our opinions and having a good time with the hobby, which which is what we're really trying to promote with this group. Again, I've been around the block in this hobby for many, many years, and I'm a member of a lot of groups on here. Some that are more general, some that are more Hot Toys focused, some that are horror and customs and, superheroes, what have you. So, it's, nothing wrong with that. But like I said, this is specifically for horror, and specifically just something that we wanted to do since we got close as a group, to kind of start. Leading the way, Victor and these guys, we kind of started try to start something new here with this group and something peaceful. So anyway, when you guys get a chance, check out 16 Horror, and try to, you want to join. And like I said, if you're not a fit or a match for the group, then look elsewhere. What else can we say? Because this is like the no drama zone. So anyway, that just wanted to take a moment and promote this, since I am part of this group. So that's that. Well, guys, another Halloween comes and goes, and by the time you're watching this video, I'm sure the trick-or-treaters will be done and you'll be watching a Halloween movie on TV. But I hope I made it into your living rooms or on your computer screens, tablet screens, iPhones, Androids, what have you, for one more time this year. And you know what? Never say never. I was telling some people this year this might have been my last, but you know what? Nah, I'll be back. Halloween 2020, here we come. All right, guys, until then, have a great year. Have a great holiday season. See you next time. Peace out.